Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're going straight into a really crucial engine of our modern world.
Yeah, especially for India's rapidly expanding energy sector.
Exactly. We're focusing on the power sector and maybe more specifically those often overlooked workhorses within it, transformers.
And they're essential internal components, right? Because if you think about the massive urban growth, the booming industries,
hmm
and, the urgent global shift towards cleaner energy, this seemingly niche industry is actually right in the middle of it all.
It really is.
Yeah.
And to get a proper handle on what's happening, we've been digging into some compelling research.
Right. The Global Consilient Research on Transformers Lamination Sector report from November 2024.
Yeah.
And Consilient Research, they're, well-regarded, specializing in energy sector analysis. Their focus here on transformer laminations, it really highlights its growing strategic importance.
Definitely. This report gives us insights into a part of the energy landscape that honestly has a far bigger impact than you might initially think.
Absolutely. So our mission for you today, the learner, is to see why this seemingly narrow topic, transformer laminations, is actually, central to major global shifts in energy and infrastructure.
We want to give you a clear, hopefully engaging path to being, truly well-informed about this essential sector without getting too bogged down in the super technical stuff.
And what's fascinating here, I think, is realizing the transformer industry is far more than just delivering electricity.
Right.
It's deeply connected to the whole energy transition. In fact, this report calls it the ultimate beneficiary of the entire power theme.
Okay, let's unpack that a bit. Ultimate beneficiary. That sounds big.
It does.
It sounds like we're looking at something that's maybe a step removed, a proxy of a proxy, perhaps.
That's a good way to put it, yeah.
We definitely need to dig into what that really means. But first, maybe let's get a sense of the bigger picture, an overview of the global and Indian transformer markets.
Certainly. So globally, the power transformer market, think the big ones, was valued at a pretty significant USD 20.7 billion in 2023. And projections indicate it'll reach around USD 37.5 billion by 2032.
That's a solid growth rate. What's the CAGR on that?
It's a compound annual growth rate of about 6.7%. And that's largely fueled by, the worldwide increase in electrification and all those initiatives aimed at cutting carbon emissions.
Right, the big drivers.
Yeah.
And it's not just those massive power transformers at substations, is it?
No, exactly.
The smaller distribution transformers, the ones closer to us, they're growing too.
Precisely. That global distribution transformer market was valued even higher, actually, USD 30.3 billion in 2023.
Wow.
And it's anticipated to expand to USD 64.7 billion by 2032. That's an even higher CAGR, 8.7%.
And that's driven more by?
Primarily demand in developing regions, as they build out their electricity distribution networks.
Makes sense. Okay, now let's zoom in on India. That's really the heart of our discussion today, given its growth.
Yeah, absolutely. The Indian power and distribution transformer market combined was valued at USD 3.97 billion in 2023. And it's forecasted to reach a substantial USD 8.41 billion by 2030.
So that CAGR is even higher again.
It is an impressive 10.84%.
Right.
This really highlights India's commitment to expanding power capacity and, that huge focus on nationwide electrification.
It sounds like there's a real government push behind this expansion, too.
Absolutely. The report points to strong policy support, things like subsidies for rooftop solar, key programs like the DDGGY and the IPDS.
Right, those rural and urban electrification schemes.
Yes, and also allowing 100% foreign direct investment, FDI, in the power sector. That's proving to be a major catalyst. It attracts investment, brings in vital tech expertise.
So lots of positive forces driving the Indian market. Are there any headwinds, challenges?
There are, yeah. The report highlights a pretty significant one: outdated power infrastructure.
Oh, okay.
This impacts overall efficiency, reliability, the whole system. It really necessitates a substantial modernization effort to support India's growing energy demands.
And especially that transition towards renewables, right?
Precisely. I mean, when you look at how developed nations tackled similar issues, strategic investment and tech upgrades are just crucial. Lessons there for India, perhaps.
Yeah, and this brings us neatly to those often unseen but critical components inside the transformers. The laminations.
Right.
For those of us who aren't electrical engineers, what exactly are these and why are they so important, fundamentally?
Okay, think of laminations as the critical guts of a transformer's core. They're thin sheets of specialized steel stacked together.
Okay. Stacked sheets.
Yeah, and their main job is to minimize energy losses, specifically what we call core losses or eddy currents.
Eddy currents, right. I remember that from physics.
Exactly. And by minimizing those, they significantly improve the magnetic efficiency of the transformer.
So it's all about making the transformer work better, waste less energy.
Spot on. And the report mentions some key component manufacturers in India playing a vital role here.
Like
Companies like Amba Enterprises, they specialize in CRGO and CRNGO steel. Then there's Bee Laminations, known for precision-engineered cores for high-voltage stuff, and Vilas Transcore, too.
Okay.
These are the companies providing the essential materials for these high-performance transformers that meet, tough global efficiency standards.
Right. Now let's circle back to that intriguing idea you mentioned earlier, the proxy of a proxy. What does the report actually mean by that?
This is a really insightful way to look at it, actually. So, first level, the lamination industry is a proxy for the transformer market.
Why?
Because laminations are just absolutely essential for transformer efficiency and performance, whether it's a huge power transformer or a small distribution one.
You can't make a good one without them.
Exactly. You simply cannot build a high-performing transformer without good laminations. So demand and growth in laminations directly reflect demand and growth in transformers.
Okay, that part makes sense. Laminations are vital for transformers, so lamination activity tells you about transformer activity. What's the next step? The second proxy.
So the transformer market, in turn, acts as a direct proxy for the power sector as a whole.
Okay.
Transformers are the fundamental backbone of transmission and distribution. They're the things that step voltage up or down, making sure electricity gets delivered efficiently from plants to us.
Right. Without them, the grid doesn't work.
Pretty much. Without a robust and efficient transformer market, the entire power sector faces huge challenges.
So if we see growth and investment in laminations, that signals good things for transformers.
Yeah.
Which then indicates a strong and expanding power sector. It's like ripples in a pond.
Exactly, like following the trail. And this is particularly relevant for India right now.
How so?
Well, that growth in India's power sector, driven by urbanization, industrialization, those government initiatives, it's directly fueling demand for more and better transformers. So the performance of the lamination sector really gives you a strong clue about the health and direction of India's whole energy future.
And the report also ties this proxy idea back to the global energy transition. How does that fit?
Absolutely. That global shift to renewables, like wind and solar, it needs advanced transformers.
Why?
Well, renewables are often remote, their output is intermittent, variable, so you need high-efficiency transformers which rely on high-quality laminations to integrate this energy into the grid effectively.
Minimizing losses during transmission.
Exactly, and supporting a more stable, reliable grid overall. So demand for advanced laminations is directly tied to the success of the clean energy transition globally.
Wow. So the tiny world of laminations is right at the intersection of these massive global shifts. Okay, let's delve a bit deeper into the lamination market itself. What are the key figures there?
Okay, so the global transformer lamination market was valued at USD 10.3 billion in 2023.
Still a pretty big number.
Oh, yeah. And it's projected to reach USD 16.2 billion by 2030. That's a CAGR of about 5.3%, still solid growth.
And just to be clear again, their main function is cutting energy loss inside the transformer. How do those thin layers actually do that?
Right, so they're made from very thin sheets of this special steel, and that layered structure is specifically designed to reduce those eddy currents we mentioned.
Okay.
These are circulating currents induced by the changing magnetic field in the core. They just waste energy as heat.
Got it.
By using thin insulated laminations, you disrupt and minimize these currents. That leads to better performance and, a longer life for the transformer.
So the demand is really being pushed by that global focus on energy efficiency.
Exactly.
And just the sheer expansion of power infrastructure everywhere.
Precisely. Urbanization, industrial growth, adopting renewables, it all feeds into it. As countries modernize grids, improve energy security, lower carbon footprints, the focus on efficient transformers intensifies.
Which drives demand for high-quality laminations.
You got it.
The report mentioned a critical material, cold-rolled, non-oriented steel. CRNO. Why is that specific type so important?
Right, CRNO steel. It's engineered specifically for transformer cores. Its key properties let it minimize energy loss because of its magnetic characteristics. It enhances the core's magnetic performance, improves overall efficiency. Because it optimizes performance and lowers running costs over the transformer's life, it's become Well, indispensable for energy-efficient transformers. Fits perfectly with that global push for sustainable power.
Sounds like there's ongoing innovation here, too, in materials and manufacturing.
Absolutely. Continuous advancements in material science and manufacturing tech, they're contributing to the market's evolution. We're seeing higher performance laminations meeting toughy requirements for modern transformers.
Especially for advanced applications.
Yeah, exactly. And plus, those increasing global investments in upgrading energy infrastructure and adopting smart grids, that's also highlighting the future potential and importance of this market.
And it's not just tech, right? Regulations must play a role, too.
Yes, indeed. As countries prioritize energy security, reducing environmental impact, aiming for sustainability, regulations promoting efficient power distribution, encouraging innovative transformer design, they all benefit the lamination market too.
Right. It reinforces its role in the energy transition.
Exactly.
So strong tailwinds pushing the market forward. But the report also mentioned turbulence. What are the main challenges?
Okay, one big one is the volatility in raw material costs, especially silicon steel.
Input costs.
Yeah. Fluctuations there directly hit production costs for lamination makers, creates unpredictability in margins, makes stable pricing tricky.
Makes sense. Standard manufacturing headache. What else?
Well, adopting the more advanced lamination tech and manufacturing processes, that often requires pretty substantial upfront capital investment.
Right, CapEx.
Yeah. And that can be a barrier, especially for smaller or medium-sized manufacturers. Might limit their ability to enter the market or upgrade, potentially slowing things down overall.
And with the focus on sustainability, environmental rules must be impacting things too.
Absolutely. Increasingly stringent energy efficiency standards, emissions standards worldwide, they're pushing manufacturers towards more eco-friendly materials and processes for laminations.
Which is good long term.
Definitely good long-term for sustainability. But it can also increase production costs in the short term, create compliance challenges as manufacturers adapt.
Okay, so challenges around cost, investment, and regulation. Despite those, are there key trends emerging within the lamination industry itself?
Yes, definitely. One significant trend is the growing adoption of amorphous core transformers.
Amorphous core, what's that?
These use a different type of metallic alloy in the core. The result is significantly lower core losses compared to traditional silicon steel cores.
Lower losses, so higher efficiency.
Much higher efficiency. This trend is particularly strong in developed markets, where maximizing energy efficiency and cutting emissions are top priorities.
Interesting. A major tech shift. What other trends are shaping the industry?
Well, the increasing use of smart grids and the broader trend of digitalization in the power sector.
How does that affect laminations?
Smart grids rely on sophisticated monitoring control. So high-performance laminations are essential for the reliability and efficiency of transformers in these connected grids. You need laminations that can support advanced functions, real-time data, predictive maintenance. Demand for those is rising.
Okay. And finally, you mentioned sustainability earlier.
Yeah.
Is there a push for greener transformers overall?
Yes, there's a definite shift towards what you might call green transformers. Meaning a real effort to use more recyclable, low-emission materials in their construction. And that includes the laminations in the core.
Right.
This trend aligns strongly with global initiatives to cut carbon, conserve resources, enhance efficiency. It's part of that broader move toward more environmentally responsible energy solutions.
Okay. Now let's bring our focus back squarely onto India and its power sector. The report called it an opportunity of a lifetime. That's a bold claim.
It is strong, but the data backs it up, I think. India currently has 423.35 gigawatts of installed electricity generation capacity. That makes it the third largest producer and consumer of electricity globally. That sheer scale presents enormous opportunities across the whole energy value chain.
And India is also making big moves in renewables, right?
Absolutely. Ranks fourth globally in installed wind and solar capacity, shows a real commitment to cleaner energy. And in fiscal year 23, electricity generation jumped 8.87% to over 1,600 billion kilowatt hours. Reflects that rapidly expanding energy demand from economic growth, more people getting access.
And consumption is up too.
Yeah, consumption jumped 9.5% in the same period. Demand is strong.
And it sounds like the government is really leaning in, investing heavily.
Indeed. They're actively promoting clean energy tech, replacing older, inefficient thermal plants with renewables.
Right.
The 2023-24 union budget had significant money specifically for solar projects. Plus, those ongoing schemes, DD-GJY and IPDS, keep driving electrification. And that 100% FDI policy is key for bringing in international investment in tech.
The report also mentioned the National Infrastructure Pipeline, the NIP. How does that fit in?
Right, the NIP. It's this huge plan for massive investment across all sorts of infrastructure. And the energy sector is a huge part of it, about 24% of the total planned spending.
24%, that's massive.
It translates to an expected investment of, get this, USD 1.4 trillion in energy projects by 2032.
Wow, okay.
It just underscores the immense scale of development planned. And India is already proving attractive for clean energy investment, potentially attracting over USD 20 billion in renewables just in 2023.
So, not just a major consumer, but emerging as a global leader in clean energy investment, too. The report ranked India 6th globally for clean energy investments between 2010 and 2019.
That's correct. Over that decade, India committed around USD 90 billion to clean energy projects. And the projected investments for the broader power sector between FY19 and FY23, aligned with the NIP, range from about $128 to $135 billion.
Huge numbers.
These commitments, plus the supported policies, really show India's ambitions here.
We touched on that outdated infrastructure problem earlier. How does the lamination sector specifically help address that challenge in India?
It plays a crucial role, really. Aging, inefficient equipment is a big source of energy loss on the grid.
Yeah.
As India keeps urbanizing and industrializing, the demand for reliable, high-efficiency transformers from industry is a major driver for the lamination sector.
So industry needs better gear.
Exactly. And the key power equipment makers in India, BHEL, Siemens India, ABB, GE, T&D India, they rely heavily on high-quality components like CRGO, CRNGO steel, and precision core laminations from these specialized companies we're talking about.
So the lamination sector is really the bedrock for the whole transformer manufacturing value chain.
Yeah.
It directly impacts the efficiency and reliability of the power we all use.
Precisely. High-quality laminations, especially using advanced materials like CRGO and CRNGO, are instrumental in cutting those core losses, boosting overall efficiency.
Right.
Companies like Bee Laminations, focusing on those precision cores, they're vital for high-voltage applications where even small efficiency gains save significant energy across the grid.
But it helps with renewables integration, too.
Definitely. Advancements in lamination tech enable smoother, more efficient integration of variable renewables into the grid. Directly supports India's energy transition.
So by providing better components.
By providing components designed for a modern grid, the lamination sector helps overcome inefficiencies of old infrastructure, improves transformer durability, cuts maintenance costs, and ultimately helps India meet those tougher efficiency and environmental standards for its big infrastructure projects. It enables scalability and sustainability.
Okay, let's dig into the materials themselves just a bit more. CRGO, CRNGO, and CRNO steels. Could you quickly break down the differences and where each is used?
Sure. CRGO, cold-rolled, grain-oriented steel. That's the premium stuff for top efficiency.
Grain-oriented.
Yeah. Its grain structure is aligned during manufacturing. This minimizes magnetic core losses and gives really high magnetic permeability.
So it's best for...
Ideal for high-voltage power transformers where efficiency is paramount. Even small loss reductions mean big cost savings over the transformer's life. Think of the aligned grains like a smooth highway for the magnetic field, less energy wasted as heat.
Okay, premium efficiency. What about CRNGO?
CRNGO, cold-rolled, non-grain-oriented. As the name suggests, more random grain structure.
Non-oriented.
Right. Gives it isotropic magnetic properties, basically, consistent magnetic characteristics in all directions. It generally has higher core losses than CRGO, but it's more versatile and cost-effective.
So it's used where?
Widespread use in electric motors, generators, smaller transformers, where you need a balance between performance and cost.
Got it. And finally, CRNO.
CRNO, just cold-rolled, non-oriented, generally has the highest core losses of the three.
So lower efficiency.
Yeah. So it's typically used in smaller transformers, auxiliary devices, where the main focus is affordability, initial cost savings, and maybe the total energy loss isn't as critical due to the application or size.
Okay, so a clear trade-off. Performance and efficiency versus cost, depending on what you need the transformer for. Now, the report flags 3 listed companies in India, Amba Enterprises, Bee Laminations, and Vilas Transcore as being really well positioned to ride this growth wave. What makes them stand out?
Yeah, these 3 have definitely established themselves as leaders in the Indian lamination scene. Each has, market leadership in their niche, a technological edge in making quality laminations for different uses, and they're strategically positioned to benefit directly from India's power sector goals and that rising demand for efficient gear.
Okay, let's take Amba Enterprises first, AEL. What's key about them?
Founded in 95, they're both a manufacturer and trader of transformer lamination products, mainly focusing on CRNO and CRNGO strips.
Okay.
Two facilities, Maharashtra and Punjab. Financially, they look strong. Report mentions trailing 12-month revenues of 289 crore, a solid 3-year revenue CAGR of 37%, and an impressive 3-year PAT CAGR of 42%.
Good growth numbers. Who do they sell to?
Primarily B2B, supplying OEMs and power distribution, automotive, industrial sectors. Key products: CRNO, CRNGO strips, finished laminations, motor pump stampings, related stuff.
Strengths.
They emphasize quality boast, a zero rejection rate, experienced leadership with Ketan Mehta, long track record, quality certifications.
Any risks?
Sure, competition, sensitivity to steel input costs, and they operate in a segment, CRNO, CRNJ, that can have lower margins compared to more specialized stuff.
So for an investor.
Potential long-term growth linked to India's industrial and power expansion, but you'd need to watch steel prices and maybe expansion risks.
Okay. Next, JB Laminations Ltd. What's their story?
Established 88, they're a specialized manufacturer focused mainly on CRGO silicon steel cores for power and distribution transformers.
CRGO, so the higher efficiency end.
Exactly. Facilities in Noida, Greater Noida. And they're doing a major expansion right now, boosting capacity and aiming to enter the higher voltage transformer market, 400 kV, 765 kV. That should be online by H2 FY25.
Ambitious. What are their main products?
Cut laminations, slit coils, fully assembled cores. Because they're so focused on power and distribution transformer components, they're a pretty direct proxy for that segment's growth.
And benefiting from the market growth we discussed.
Definitely. Report says they're running at high capacity utilization, suggesting strong demand. The expansion plan's new facility, more capacity in Greater Noida, are aimed at capturing future growth. They're also looking at higher value products and more export.
Valuations.
Report mentions a PE around 47, EBITDA around 26. So yes, a market premium, but potentially justified by the growth prospects and expansion.
Right. Okay, finally. Vilas Transcore Ltd. Their position.
Another specialized manufacturer, nearly 30 years experience, focusing on mission-critical components for power distribution and transmission.
What kind of components?
CRGO coils, wound cores, complete core coil assemblies. Their clients include big names like Voltamp, Electrotherm, Atlas, Shilchar.
So like JB, a direct proxy for that sector.
Yes, exactly. A supplier of key parts for power distribution and transmission gear, so they benefit directly from India's power sector growth, rising capacity, government support.
Expansion plans.
Oh yeah, a mega expansion underway. A greenfield project in Vadodara aiming to triple their capacity.
Triple, wow.
Yeah, for CRGO and also diversifying into radiators for transformers and nanocrystalline cores. This expansion was funded by the recent IPO.
Valuations similar to JB.
Very similar, actually. PE around 47, EBITDA around 26. Again, reflects a premium, but potentially seen as reasonable given the growth, the big expansion, and product diversification.
So it sounds like these three aren't just players, they're really key enablers for the growth we're seeing in the Indian power sector, especially in transformers.
Absolutely. They're a vital link in that value chain, providing the essential, high-quality components that underpin the efficiency, reliability, and advancement of India's power networks.
Well, this has been a really fascinating deep dive into a sector that's just fundamental to powering everything, really. Let's quickly recap the main takeaways.
Yeah. In essence, we've learned the transformer lamination sector, though often behind the scenes, plays an absolutely vital role in the growth, the efficiency, the modernization of the whole power sector.
Especially in a place like India, undergoing such a huge energy transition.
Exactly.
And the real aha moment for me, I think, is understanding that interconnectedness, from the tiny lamination all the way up to the national grid and global clean energy goals. It gives you a powerful new way to look at these big economic and environmental shifts.
It's really insightful, isn't it? Recognizing how an industry focused on such a specific component can be such a significant indicator and a crucial enabler of much broader trends in energy infrastructure and economic development.
Yeah. So as India pushes on with its journey towards, complete electrification, a sustainable energy future, it's clear that the innovation and growth in transformer laminations won't just be a supporting act.
No, they'll be a fundamental driver of this, electrifying transformation.
Nicely put. And it really makes you think, doesn't it? What other seemingly small specialized component industries might hold similarly significant keys to unlocking major global megatrends?
That's a great question. Definitely something worth pondering.